are here today to mourn and to keep on the legacy of Rabbanith Ruth Menashe, Aleha HaShalom, Ruth Bat Ahuva. To many of us, she was a role model, a friend, a teacher, a mother, a grandmother. On Dal Adar 5775, the Rabbanit's unexpected passing was a loss to Klal Yisrael, to our generation, and to the many lives she touched and changed. Her loss was a difficult one.
This was the Menchel, this was the Ben Adam L'Chaveiro. This was the royalty to the very last moments. I'll never forget how many months ago, the wife came back from a shiur at the Soleimani house that Rabbanit gave during some of the better days, that she gave with tremendous strength and enthusiasm. And she was able to inspire and to uplift the entire packed house of women in every single corner. One of the stories that Abby came home and told me was how Ruth had mentioned that growing up in Eretz Yisrael as a child, she never knew of trees that are bare in the cold of winter.
Every time in the winter, I used to feel a little sad when I saw all the trees bare, without their leaves. I was never used to it because I grew up in Eretz Yisrael, and there are a lot more evergreens. Here, a lot of trees just shed their leaves, and you see them, if you look outside, you'll see that a lot of trees just stand there bare. And it always caused me to feel a little sad. And then, a few days ago, a thought came to my mind which I'd like to share with you. When the trees are all green, full of leaves, and look so beautiful, they look as if they're perfect. And then they shed their leaves, and they look bare. And all the branches look as if they're reaching up to heaven, like arms reaching up to heaven. And I said to myself, maybe this is something for us to learn from trees. When they have everything, when they are green and blooming and flourishing, nobody sees their direction towards heaven. But now that they are bare, that there are no leaves on them, that they are empty, that as if they lack something, this is the time when we see their branches stretching up to heaven. And this is us also. This is us also. When we feel that we lack something, that we pain, that we suffer, this is the time to reach out to heaven and then feel the connection, the closeness with the Kadosh Baruch Hu.
Who else? Who else but Ruth Menashe could go through the Gehenna that she went through and recognize this lesson? The Muslim Haskel, it is for us. How you can be an Eved Hashem, how you can be an incredible Ohev of Rabbi Shalom, how you can do it not only in the plush times, the warm times, the light and comfortable times, but even in the dead of winter. Even when everything seems so ugly and dark and cold and bare. You can never forget the extraordinary royalty that all of us here were privileged to meet and to know.
We'll say a few words here in Yerushalayim. To eulogize the Rabbanit Ruth Menashe. Of course, I remember her husband from his youthful days in Bombay, India. I knew his father very well. We know that Rabbi Menashe and his very outstanding wife, Aleha Shalom, Ruth, have done a lot in their own right in New York, founding the Ben Ish Hai Midrash and working in outreach and education, teaching halakha, teaching parasha, and many other good things, besides bringing up their family. All their children are b'derech HaTorah, Yirei Shamayim. So they've achieved a lot together, and obviously, as we know, the Rabbanit was the backbone of the family, and she suffered a lot fighting this very, very difficult illness, which eventually took her life. The Rabbanith Ruth did a lot of good things for the community, in education, in kiruv, and she has tremendous zechut. And this is what we say at the end of Eshet Hayil. Kamu baneha vayashiruha ba'ala v'halela. Although we cannot sing the praises of a woman of valor, we look at her children, we look at her husband, who they are, and then we understand who she was. Because everything that the husband achieves is through the merit of his wife. And all that the children are how they were brought up by their mother.
But Ruth Bat Ahuva was like an angel. She was like an angel. I have never seen in my life a person like her. Never. Have you? Kamom al-akhirum. She could have praised and praise and bless and bless. Velecha velach tagdil lehodot haneshama. She is going to continue to praise HaKadosh Baruch Hu because she could do that. And after her passing, she is going to continue and to praise. And we have to remember to do like her. And we are worried. And we have to be doeg. We have to be doeg and to try, because she touched our hearts and she lived among us, to try as much as we can to be like her. It may not be very possible, very easy. Because can we really look at our friend and see only the good in him? In every single person? Can we really smile when we have such a pain? Has v'shalom. Can we really do this? Maybe it is like what one of the Hachamim said once. That the Talmidei Hachamim, the great scholars, the great tzaddikim, are like the stars of the heaven. Maybe you can never reach them, but you have to live to their light.
Anyone that came in contact with her Rabbanit, Ruth, felt they were in the presence of Kiddusha and Tahara. Purity, holiness. The way in which she conducted herself with tzniut, as a bat melech, as a bat Yisrael. And clearly, again, those of us at Yeshiva Har Torah have had the zchut to see three of her works of art, her works of beauty, who instill within our children each and every day the very essence of what the Rabbanit stood for in her life. My hope is that the children continue the many zechuyot of their beloved mother, and they continue to impact and to transform the Talmidim with whom they come in contact. And it will be, in fact, a continued zchut each and every day.
Who cannot remember being greeted by Ruth Who cannot say that always with a smile? She always had that smile. She always had that composure. She always had something nice to say. These are the people that really, really, really lead to better living in the future. There happens to be a couple of friends of mine, or students of mine, or friends, that they were living, or they would go to her in Long Island, either for shidduchim or for other reasons what were needed. And what was their thing? That she was loving, open. She was there for them. And each one of them felt she was there for me. And each one of you people over here feel that she was there for me. Not only for us, but each one felt the individual. Liking, loving, feeling for this great woman. She really made a difference in the world which she came to. And we want to comfort her husband and the whole family. Sheyeh nishmata tzurura b'tzura hayim. Amen.
Rabbanith Menashe, Zichronah Livracha, she put her focus, besides her own family, taking care of the needs of the family, mamash, being involved. Then in our own town here in Great Neck, helping her husband, Rabbi Menashe, with all of his shurim, with all of his involvement of Tzorchei Tzibur, to put the shurim, the classes. So this is mamash, the dedication that she put to be able to educate and elevate the level of the religiosity within our own community.
I speak now to the children, that they should bear with pride and with dignity her mother's name and remember her for all that she did, for all that she accomplished. And indeed, her accomplishments were many. We have to greet each other. When we walk out from here, I want you to learn a lesson from Rabbanith Ruth, Aleha Shalom. Greet everyone with a kind face, with a smile on your face, and it will just go on and on and on and on, and continue always. Yehi Zichra Baruch, and may Hashem grant us all that there should come the moment in time when the Navi promises us, Hashem will wipe away the tears from everyone's face, and He will bestow upon each and every one of us bracha v'hatzlacha, nachat, simcha, v'kol tuv. Amen.
We have mourned for her throughout the entire year, and although we will continue to mourn her forever, we must make sure that her legacy lives on. The Rabbanith, who was also known as Ruthie in her childhood, was born in the holy city of Jerusalem. She was born to a fine, loving, and God-fearing couple, Yeshayahu and Ahuva Lereah, who dedicated themselves to do everything for their only child.
כרגע אין לנו מה לעשות. אנחנו רק חיים מן הזיכרונות שהיו לנו איתה. אותם זיכרונות נהדרים. בת יחידה שלא החסרנו ממנה כלום. היא הייתה הפרח שלנו. הבת היחידה אבל הנהדרת. היא הייתה כל כך כישרונית. הייתה באה מבית ספר עם הנקודה בסוף הרבעון, מביאה לי תעודה נהדרת, אחת מהראשונות בכיתה תמיד. הייתה בינה ובין חברתה רחלי תמיד התחרות, מי תביא תעודה יותר יפה, יותר טובה. בכל מקום שהיא הלכה היא הצטיינה. לכן היה לנו, וכשהפסדנו אותה, כשהיא הלכה לעולמה, זו הייתה מכה איומה עבורנו. היינו תמיד שמחים איתה. תמיד היא דאגה לנו תמיד. תמיד שאלה, מה נשמע? הייתה רחוקה מאיתנו, אבל אף פעם לא החסירה יום בלי להגיד לנו שלום, לשאול לשלומנו, לראות איך אנחנו מבלים, איך אנחנו חיים את חיינו. וזה היה קשה מאוד לאבד אותה, ובגיל די צעיר אפשר להגיד.
רותי הייתה נשמה טהורה. בילדותנו לא שמעתי ממנה מילה אחת לא טובה על שום אדם. היא הייתה הדוגמה ומקור השראה בשבילי. היא הייתה בעלת עין טובה שתמיד רצתה בשמחת הזולת. גדלנו יחד, בילינו יחד, שמחנו יחד, בכינו יחד. רותי הייתה ילדה למופת, יפהפייה, חכמה ובעלת מידות טובות. מקור ההשראה הייתה לכל הסובבים אותה, וזאת הייתה לי הזכות להיות חברתה. תמיד חשבתי שרותי הייתה חלק ממני, ולא ידעתי שהיא הייתה חלק מכל כך הרבה אנשים. בלוויה שלה, שהייתה תוך שעתיים, באו אלפי איש, והרגשתי שכל אחד ממנו היה לו איזה סיפור לספר עליה. תמיד תהיה בליבם של הרבה אנשים מעם ישראל. כשבאתי לבקר אותה כשהיא חלתה, לא הרגשתי שהיה בה שום כעס, שום צער, רק קרבה של הקדוש ברוך הוא שררה בה, ואמונה שלמה שאין כמותה. הנחמה היחידה שיש, שהשאירה משפחה לתפארת, שתמשיך בדרך התורה, ורואים את זה על הילדים הנהדרים שלה, שכולם הולכים בדרך התורה, וממשיכים בדרכה שהשקיע בהם, יהיה זכרה ברוך.
When the Rabbanith was in her 20s, she was introduced to a young man who came to visit Israel from America. Rabbanith Ruth and Rabbi Menashe were introduced to one another through very good friends of the Menashe family, Mark and Hilda Sofer. After the Rabbanith's passing, Hilda wrote to her,
Even though we met so infrequently from one year to the next, each meeting was so heaped with feeling and love. You never failed to contact me and arrange a meeting even though you had so many commitments in Israel. It was as if a small part in my heart was waiting for you to turn up and fill it. You belonged there from the moment I set eyes on you. You have been a true and wonderful friend since then. Your eyes filled with tears at my pain, and your face lit up with joy at my happiness. How can I ever forget your amazing smile, your soft and gentle ways, your grace and inner beauty? That corner in my heart is still filled with you, and I am so fortunate.
This new and amazing young couple shortly after decided to marry. Although the Rabbanith never dreamed of moving from her homeland, she pursued her new husband's dream and settled as a new wife in Queens, New York. For the Rabbanith, her family was always a first priority. She was the dream mother that we all aspire to be, loving, warm, enthusiastic, easygoing, sensitive, supporting. She instilled confidence and fine midot in her children. She taught them that she believed in them.
Anything I'm going to say is going to be shortcoming of what my Ima is. I'm sure she had at least one flaw, but I don't know of it. And maybe that's why she finished her job so quickly. It's hard to lose a family member, any family member, but it's much harder when that family member could be the most special person you knew. We heard constantly people saying Malach about her, angel, most amazing person in the world, daughter-in-law and mother-in-law. So usually isn't the combination that's the easiest to get along with, but her mother-in-law loved her, and my wife said she never met anyone in the world like my mother.
As the family grew, the Rabbanith's relationship with her grandchildren was beautifully breathtaking. She loved them so much, and from when they were tiny, the relationship was mutual. Her grandson Mordechai would go straight to her arms the moment he saw her. A few days after she passed away, her 3-year-old grandson Chaskel looked at his Savta's picture and said, "I love she always listens to me."
I miss her so much, and one time on my birthday, when I was about to go to sleep, she remembered and she gave me a red fire truck, and I was really so happy, and I really loved her. It was great when we had her.
Being a young mother of rambunctious children is quite a job as it is. Throw into that a committed and dedicated assistant principal, an assistant principal who treated each teacher with respect and love, taught her students how to pray, and then invited them to her home for Shabbat. Almost everyone would agree that there are not enough hours in a day to do more. The Rabbanith did more, a lot more. She helped Rabbi Menashe found Midrash Ben Ish Chai to help serve a growing need in the community. She gave inspiring shiurim, organized singles events and parties for children. At Midrash Ben Ish Chai, along with her husband, she worked to help build Torah and give people of all backgrounds an even deeper appreciation of their heritage.
You had this tremendous, really, force behind the scenes, and really that was the Rabbanith. You know, I lived with them at that point, on Shabbatot, and basically, and you can see we really, there was a lot done, and there's a lot of behind-the-scenes pushing and help, and it's been a lot of really, there's a lot of an impact on many people here, out of here. People that, as the rabbi had mentioned, that would never, didn't know anything about these stories, wouldn't know anything about the impact that she's had, but she was a tremendous influence. A lot of people know my son, Simon, and, even as a little kid at the Midrash at different events, and he was encouraged, always enjoyed it, and you always had the beautiful comments from the Rabbanith. To this day, he talks about it, he repeats about it, and he really has a tremendous place in his heart for her, and all of us do, and she's really sorely missed.
Think about Rabbanith Ruth, a lot of things come to mind. One in particular is the way she spoke to her children and the way she interacted with them in a low voice, in sweetness, and I really admired her.
I was lucky enough that I walked into the Menashe family 25 years ago and had no desire to step away. I'm honored, glad that my wife and children also attached themselves to the family. We've learned a lot from her midot, how she interacted with people around her, in school, at home, in the community. We all learned by just observing her, and she's just been an ultimate source of inspiration for everybody.
Nothing got in the way of the Rabbanith. No matter how difficult the challenge was, she always believed there would be a way. She would not let anything stop her in her service of God.
I never embarked on any project without her saying that she's on board. Why? Because I knew that at some point we were doing everything together, I would probably need her help. And I commented it was even in the area of religion. What does it mean even in the area of religion? I'll give you an example. We put out a Torah minute every single day, except for Shabbat and Yom Tov. Thank goodness it's Shabbat and Yom Tov. We get a little bit of a rest. Okay, Torah minute every day. Some days you're motivated. Some days it just flows. Some days I know in advance for 2 weeks what I'm going to be talking about. And there have been times, not just the Torah minutes, it could be anything. It could be the drasha on Shabbat. It could be the non-stop Torah. I said to her, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it today. I'm not motivated. There's nothing in my head. I can't. I got too many things to worry about. This problem, that problem. I can't do it. I'm not doing it. It's nothing to discuss about. Nothing to discuss. It's not going out today. Half an hour later, 1 hour later, a couple of books will be open. She'd say, what's your opinion about this? Okay, there you go. Torah minute. Non-stop Torah. Drasha, the show goes on. Rabbanith Ruth has passed on after a life that was all too short. But she achieved in that life of hers more than most people will achieve in an entire lifetime. And the reason we love her so much is not just that she was everybody's Rabbanith, but because she loved and cared for everybody, you and me. And we know that she is in Shamayim doing for us. In fact, as a family, I can say that my family has seen evidence of this. She is doing for everybody. But it is not a one-way street. We must also do for her, continue to do for her Ilui Neshama. How do we do this? We speak about a person's legacy, and indeed her legacy is great. What that means is, to continue her legacy, we must continue to spread her name, her legacy, and her teachings. And how do we do this? Our rabbis of blessed memory tell us that 30 days before Pesach, we have to start learning the halachot, the laws of Pesach. Why? We did it last year, we did it the year before, and the year before that. Why again this year for 30 days? The answer is that we forget. So therefore, we must ensure that we continue to learn and relearn her teachings, of which she left us a plethora. We have videos, we have writings. We must continue to learn them, and with the help of heaven and your help, we will continue to publish a wealth of unpublished material that she has left us to learn from and to spread. Our job must be to follow the example of who she was, and what a fine example it was. We must spread them by leading by example, by showing others around us that we can live like her, that we can follow what she believed in the path of the Holy Torah, and to have influence on all those around us with whom we come in contact. It is my prayer that we will do for her even a fraction of what she has done and continues to do for us.